We have been very good friends for a very long time. But when we were posted to the village, we have to go back and allow you in Abuja to enjoy it. But we thank Almighty God that when we started, from the time we started nursing the idea to contest for governorship election in the state, we have been interacting with the media, and the media has been very supportive. So we thank you immensely for that. And we are still enjoying the cooperation and support from the Nigerian media throughout our reign on power from 29th May to date. And I would like to talk to you about one initiative which has been boggling my mind since when I started to nurse ambition to become a governor. As you are all aware, Katsina State has been one of the states that is being affected with banditry, kidnapping, and all sorts of criminalities. Lives are lost, property are lost, and people were disrupted from conducting their legal activities in terms of economic development of the state. And the essence of government is to protect the lives and properties of individuals. Since when I became a governor, there is no single day I will not receive a security report of one killing or the other, kidnapping, and other sort of other issues, which has been disturbing me. Sometimes it's difficult for me to open my phone because I knew what I would be confronted with. You know, I have said it over and over through the various media outfits that my first priority as a governor is to tackle the issue of insecurity as much as we can. We are aware that the security is something that is vested under the control of the federal government, especially the security agencies, the army, the police, and all other sort of security agencies in the state. We governors that were so-called security officers, chief security officers of our state, we were called chief security officers of the state, authority without power. You can't command the military, you can't command the police, you can't command the civil defense. They receive order from the above. And we are aware of the challenges in terms of number, of the security we have in the country. In some of the local governments in my state, you find out that we have less than 50 police officers in that local government, which has a population of not less than 200,000 people. Katsina State is a state that has a population of over, estimated population of over 10 million population. So you can imagine with that kind of population, there is no way the recent numbers that we have in the security outfits in the country to be able to protect the lives and properties of the citizens of the state. And when you look at it again, these are things that are happening within a locality, within communities. And there is no way you can fight it. I have said it, unless you involve the locals. So since before my inauguration as a governor, I have since deployed the services of experts to come up with a bill titled Community Watch Corps Bill to the State Assembly. Immediately we were sworn in, we took the bill to the State Assembly. Within 2 to 3 weeks, the Assembly was able to send back the bill to us, and I have assented it. But before then, I used to have a security committee during my campaign exercise. The security committee was transformed to a full-fledged committee to come up with modalities on how to select those community watch officers. The committee swung into action immediately, day and night. And a lot of the members of the committees are from the retired military officers, DSS or police, as well as academia. We involved all of them. They came up with a lot of concept and framework and developed a way to recruit these community watch officers in a much professional manner. We were guided by the rules and regulations guiding the recruitment of the military, the police, and the civil defense. We developed our form, which was fully endorsed by the security outfit in the states. When we employ the police, the army, to provide us with some of their personnel to help us in the screening and recruitment exercise of this community watch corps. Teams were developed. We went back to the community, especially the affected community, the 8 frontline local governments. We started with them because we believe if we are able to block the 8 frontline local governments, it will make it not easy for these criminals to be moving about in the state how they wish. When we did that, we sent the forms for those who want to volunteer into the service. They show a lot of enthusiasm to enter. More than 2,400 applied for the job. They fill in the forms. We screen the form. We did the medicals. We call NDLEA. They did tests for drugs and the rest of it. The team from the army and the police and the hospital board, they brought in medical doctors to examine those people, and we have pegged it 20 years to 35 years of age. But we are not particularly concerned what kind of certificate do you have. Our aim is for you to be able and have the ability to protect the lives and properties of your parent. Why we choose to pick people from the community affected is because they have the pain. Their mothers were killed. Their brothers were killed or maimed. Their mothers or their sisters were raped. So they will have more courage to face the situation. And the only thing that differs, mostly they are able to know the location of those people. They know their whereabouts. So we recruited from them willingly. When they came, we gathered them in a place. Then we started training them. Those who could not afford to pass the hurdles of the training were screened out. At the end of the exercise, we were left with about 1,500 young men and women. They were trained by the military and the police. After the training, we commissioned them. After commissioning them, we gave them all the necessary things they may require to perform their assignment. We provided motorcycles. We provided them with vehicles, Hilux vehicles, more than 65. We provided them with 700 motorcycles. We provided them with 10 armored vehicles that we call APC, so that they can confront. And then we provided them with all the gadgets that you may need, security equipment, life jacket, helmet, night goggle, vision, and the rest of it. They were all kitted and ready for the job, as we have seen last week. And we have followed all the red light regulations, and we were doing it along with the security agencies. The aim is to support this conventional security to address the issue. The operation, all their authorized arms were deposited with the DPOs in the local government. Once they have an assignment, they pick it and they go together with the police and the army. The essence is to have more number that can confront this problem. Because we promised, and the problem we are encountering in Nigeria, because one politician speaks, they thought it's one of those things. It's one of the promises of the politician. People regard politicians as liars, betrayers. But governance is not all about that. Governance is about life and property of people. And if you will be able to sacrifice, to resign all what you are doing, and take a risk of contesting election, not knowing whether you will win or you will lose. So I think it's a big business. Business that has to do with the lives and properties of people is a big business. We shouldn't take it lightly. That is why I made sure that my campaign promises are met. I was able during my campaign to visit all the 361 wards, even those that security advised us not to go. We took the risk of going. We have seen what was happening in those places. We have seen it from the eyes. We have seen it emotionally. You can feel it. The kind of suffering people are undergoing. And you can imagine yourself. Take it that it's your father or it's your mother that is being killed. How will you feel? If you don't have empathy, putting your shoes in the position of those people, you will not appreciate the kind of pains they are undergoing. I hate to hear the word ethnicity in this. There is nothing like ethnicity in it. People were saying it's Hausas and Fulani. It's a lie. If it happens somewhere, it's not in Katsina. Because you will hardly see a pure Fulani man or a pure Hausa man in Katsina. You see that maybe your father is Hausa, your mother is Fulani. You see that maybe you are both Fulani. You see that you are mixed. So the issue of ethnicity, we don't even have it. That is why in some nomenclature in Nigeria, they call it Hausa Fulani, because it's hardly to differentiate who is Hausa and who is Fulani. It is only people in the bush that you regard as Fulani. I am Fulani. My mother is a Fulani woman. Her relatives are still in the bush. My father is a Fulani man. So no one is going to talk to me about ethnicity. It's nothing like ethnicity. It's about killing innocent people. It's about kidnapping innocent people. It's about creating problems to the innocent people, disrupting their economic activities. And whatever tribe you are, if we are involved in this thing, I will deal with the situation, because there is nothing like ethnicity in crime. So that is the reason why we took the bull by the horn. We invested a lot of resources in this, despite the infrastructural challenges we are having, despite the problem we have in education, despite problem we have in health sector, despite the huge burden of debt in our state. But we have to leave everything and confront security, because you go to school when there is peace. You go to hospital when there is peace. You go to market when there is peace. If you don't have peace, you don't do anything. So we must confront insecurity. If that is the only job I will do as a governor for 4 years, I will do it. And I know God will support me in doing this. God knows our mind. We want to deal with this situation, and we need to support the federal government, because we know that the security agents that we have in the country cannot be able to support the innocent lives in the villages. It is my firm belief that there is need for us to encourage, and that was the reason why, since when we started as Northwest governors, immediately after our inauguration, we met and we look at issues that were confronting us in the North. Basically, it's insecurity. The insecurity issue is more devastating in the Northwest now than the Northeast, because Boko Haram is almost defeated in the Northeast. The other element of Boko Haram that were left there have moved to the Northwest, supporting the bandit. So it is important for the concentration of the federal government in the Northwest now, having the highest population in the country. Those people, we are the ones that have more disadvantage in terms of education. And with this insecurity that is challenging our people, the educational challenge will be more. Because some schools were closed, economic activities were shut down in some locations. And everybody knows that the strength of Katsina State is agriculture. If you cannot go to the farm, there will be a problem. There will be a problem of food insecurity in the state. We need to confront this problem, and we need to do it now. So immediately after our inauguration, we went and saw Mr. President after our first meeting. We told Mr. President that why we were elected as governors in the Northwest is because we promised that we will fight insecurity. So the only thing that Mr. President should do to Northwest now is to support Northwest in terms of insecurity. We need it more than any other thing. Then the other one is the livelihood of the people, which is agriculture. But that, by the way, is only when you secure people who are in peace that you can go to other sectors of the economy. We met, and during the commissioning of this community watch corps in Katsina State, we invited all the Northwest governors, and they were all there. After that inauguration, we were able to meet again, so that all of us together we can fight this thing. And the only way we can achieve success in our fight towards insecurity in the state is if we come together to fight it. Because all my 8 local governments, about 7 of the local governments are bordered Zamfara. So if I'm able to do something in Katsina and Zamfara was unable to do it, it means we are not, they will move to Zamfara. After some time, they will come back to us. But if they are confronted from both sides, we'll be able to manage the situation. And as I speak to you, Zamfara State Governor, the State Assembly of Zamfara were able to pass the bill for this same civilian JTF. Sokoto State, last week, they have inaugurated a committee to work out on the modalities on how to come about this outfit. Kaduna State, I saw them, there are some people already in the police college receiving training. So it is only when we have a coordinated approach on insecurity that we can be able to muzzle it out and to be able to fight it. That is why it is very important for the members of the press to support this initiative, because we are the only ones that can help our country. If we portray the country in a better image, the country becomes better. If we portray it in a bad light, the country becomes bad. If we go to some places, you see Nigerian, you see criminality. All the nice and better side of the country are not being projected well. We need your support in this direction. The country needed you most than any other time. It's not only about the politician. I've been saying it. I myself alone cannot fight insecurity. We need the cooperation of the people, the community, the stakeholders. Because the people in the bush cannot be able to come to town and attack people if they don't have informants. The informants, we sleep with them in the same roof. We eat with them. So it is only, it's a two-way system. So if somebody is talking about ethnicity, the informants that are living in the town, if you call them houses, they are houses. So they are conniving with the planners to do all these things. We are not sparing anybody. The most difficult aspect is if you can only trust yourself, you don't know the next person near you, what was in his mind and what he was doing with others. Informants are everywhere, among us politicians, among the key government functionaries, among the police, among the army. We find them everywhere. Sometimes if a flight is taken off from Katsina by the Nigerian Air Force to fight the insecurity, once it took off, somebody will call the bandit and tell them that, yes, hide, these people are coming. That is why we could not end this situation. If we are going by road, some people will call them, the troops are coming. So that is why they normally ambush the security. Because they have a prior information, and the information is coming from us. It's not coming from elsewhere. So it's a collective responsibility. The society has to wake up, and we shouldn't be cowards. Cowards in the sense that we allowed young men, very lean, not well fed. They will come on 2 motorcycles with 2 AK47 and threw everybody and pushed everybody into running. Thousands of people. You only die once. You can't die 2 times. We have to confront this situation. If we are confronting the situation, these people will not be challenging us this way. So this is a collective responsibility. So I'm calling on the community also to contribute with information, to contribute whatever support suspicious activities. If you see a young man who is jobless, doing nothing, with a new car or a new motorcycle, people start asking questions about their children, about their neighbors, about the community. If we don't do that, we cannot achieve success. So it's a collective responsibility. And since when we inaugurated this community watch officers, the criminality has reduced in the state. For 2 days now, I've not had a report of kidnaps or of killings. It has reduced drastically, and a lot of people were being arrested, including the informants, and being handed over to the security. So if all the state will do exactly what we did, I'm telling you, criminal will have no place to hide in our country, despite the difficult terrain of the forest, which they are more used to the forest than us. But the locals who are from those communities, they also know the terrain, they know the topography, they know where they hide, and they know all the information about them. That will make the fight easy. We pray to Almighty God to support us in this direction, to make Nigeria a safer place, to make Katsina State a better place for economic prosperity. Now, as I speak to you, there are some traditional rulers who were identified. And those ones were already under scrutiny. So anybody, we are not sparing anybody, I'm telling you. Even a commissioner in my regime, anybody, I'm telling you, nobody I'm going to spare is found to be involved in one criminal activity or the other. We are talking about the lives of 10 million people, not one single individual. No one single individual is more important than 10 million people, or the lives of an innocent person in the village. So we are trying as much as possible to see how we can gather. We are gathering a lot of information and intelligence, together with the intelligence we are getting from the DSS, so that together we can build a network that we can arrest and prosecute any person found wanted. And you know, to address the insecurity in the state, in the bill that established this community watch corps, we came up with various committees. We have the State Committee of Security, we have the Local Government Committee on Security, we have the district and the ward committees. And the responsibility of these committees is to monitor the activities of this community watch corps. Secondly, is to also guide buying of a house, leasing of a house, sale of a plot, or sale of a house. So that committee must verify the person who is going to rent a house, to sell a house, to sell a plot, or whatever, so that we may not be harboring or housing criminals within the communities. Because as we stand today, anybody can go and rent a house as he likes, whether we know him or we don't know him. whether he has any credibility or identification. But now we make sure that you must provide a lot of identification before we accept you in our society, because doing that is what creates a lot of criminalities and activities. You will see, because most of the leaders of the bandit leaders, they don't live in the bush. They live in our cities that are peaceful. They will come and buy a house, keep their wives and children, and they will go to the bush, do their act, and come back. So if we have this thing in place, that whoever is coming, whoever is know your neighbor approach, so it is going to help a lot in reducing the incidence of the criminalities in our society. We cannot fold our arms and say that, look, we are not going to protect ourselves because we don't have sophisticated arms that the bandit has. But we have the numbers, and we have the zeal, and we have the determination. And you should remember, if they are going for any outing, it's just the way it was done in Borno through the civilian JTF. They will be covered by the police and the military, who are heavily armed. So I think it's a concerted effort, and it's a joint effort. But gradually, we are working within what the laws allowed us to possess. We cannot go beyond what the laws allow us to do. So we are driving towards that, and we are seeking reforms within the federal government in that regard, so that if a bandit can go to the market and buy AK47, RPG, and all these kind of weapons, what of people that are supposed to protect themselves? They should equally be. These people are holding it illegally. We are trying to hold it legally. Why can't the government allow people to have these things so that they can equally confront the challenges? I'm telling you, they have panic. These people is not what this thing needs is courage. If you have the courage to confront it, and you should remember, armies are being killed, police are being killed. So whoever sacrificed to offer this kind of service, they cannot rule out being harmed or killed or injured in the course of doing his assignment. This is a sacrifice that one has to make. This is a sacrifice one has to make in dealing with this kind of situation. Even myself, I have been receiving so many threats. But that will not deter me. I have told you earlier, I will only die once. I will not die twice. And it's only a coward who will sit in his room and allow someone to kill him. It's an obligation of us to protect ourselves. It's against even our religious belief to allow somebody to just come and take our property, kill us, maim our children, just like that. We have to put effort to protect ourselves. And that is the sole aim of the government, and that is sole responsibility of the government. So we are seeking for collaborative effort to address the issue. It has to start from somewhere. I've just mentioned that Zamfara has passed the law, Sokoto is doing that, and other states are also trying to set up committees. Because I have mentioned it earlier that we cannot achieve success if we don't have the cooperation of the neighboring states to confront the situation. So we are already cooperating in this regard. But to know who is going to die, who is not going to die, I don't know. I may be the next person. You may be the next person. Only God knows. So the issue is we are going to do the best we could. And as long as we are in government, we will sustain this. And I'm telling you, this is a law that was enacted by the State Assembly, signed by the governor. So whoever comes in, he must repeal this law before he could stop this exercise. So that is why before we start, we have to put law in place, because law can stay longer than us. We exit, because mandate is 4 years. And I have mentioned earlier that it has affected productivity. But the good thing about it is, in some places you can't even go to the farm. And some citizens of the state were turned into slaves their own farm. The bandit will come with their gun. They will do all the farm work. They will harvest and take it to the warlord house. They became a slave in a country that has freedom, that everybody has a right for life and living. And it pains me to hear somebody saying that abuse of human rights. Who is abusing who? Those people that you don't allow to go to farms, those people that you kill, those people that you rape their wives, they are the people who are violating human rights. Or when a bandit is killed, that human right is being violated? I don't know. We have to redefine what is human right. So we are doing a lot of such items, but you know we have just started. It's a process, and we have begun with health cover. And after the health cover, we'll move to the insurance of life and property. And you should remember, in Katsina State, I have senior special advisor on victims of banditry and criminality in the state. We have earmarked some resources every month. You know, every victim of banditry in the state, whether security or the citizens, they get free medical support from the state government.
Shouldn't it have been the other way? Shouldn't the insurance have come?
No, I know, but the insurance is coming. But what we are doing at the moment, any security officer that got injured or killed, we have a kind of support that we render to the family and to the victims. And we are going to formalize it by insuring their lives, inshallah. You know, I have visited almost all the heads of the security institutions in the country, seeking their support and cooperation in the fight against the insecurity in the state. And for the formation of the community security, and the kind of support I got from all the security institutions in the country is really very encouraging. And even yesterday, I had a chat with Mr. President. Mr. President told me yesterday that he has watched our program live when we were commissioning the security outfit in Katsina State last week. And he has encouraged me and he has supported us because he said this is one of the best ways to go about it. And the federal government is going to support it in that direction. And concerted effort is going to be made. And you have seen that the effort the security agencies are even making. It has really changed. Even last 2 weeks or last week, we have seen how our Air Force were able to kill more than 100 bandits in Zamfara State. So we are going in the right direction, and we are getting the support of the central government. And we are cooperating with the central government. Our aim is to reduce this thing. It's like giving a helping hand to the central government. The state is coming up with their little resources to give a helping hand to the national security institutions in the country. We are now almost at the 80 to 90% completion of their outpost in each of the local government. We are building the outpost for each and every local government involved. And in that outpost, we have armory where those arms can be kept. And the arms were kept in the custody of the police to ensure professional utilization of the arms, as at when due. For the post-banditry activity, my own take on this is, I have said it over and over, that I will not negotiate with the bandits. Negotiation with the bandit is a no-go area in my perspective. But I said, if I'm at the point of advantage, if the bandit came out and said, look, we are dropping arms, come, let's sit down, we'll integrate them back into the society. But I will not go begging bandit to come for negotiation. I won't. Why? You know, it is really so disheartening and so demoralizing. An incident has just happened in Katsina where there was a negotiation, even though the state government were not involved in this negotiation. We were not even informed. We just saw it on the social media. But the most mind-boggling issue is, instead of the negotiation to take elsewhere, not at the far view of the civilians, But it happens right in front of the civilians. The civilians were just folded their arms. They saw bandits that were killing their brothers, sisters, mothers, and with fully kitted arm, sitting in a primary school negotiating with the Nigerian security. That has really caused a lot of pressure on us. That the people were saying, if you are negotiating with bandits, then what happens to us that are victims, that our properties were destroyed, our lives are lost, our mothers are raped? What do you have planned for us before you start talking to bandits? It should be a win-win situation. There should be a program that tackles and addresses the issue of the victims before you start talking to a criminal to lay arms. It is very important to do that. If you do one side and you didn't do the other, you are not doing anything, because you are only aggravating the problem. So you are even telling people to take arms, because you only negotiate with a person who takes arms. Settle the victims, resettle them, reintegrate them, rebuild them, reconstruct them. Then we can now, if you did that to them, it will be easier for government to negotiate with the bandits. But when you are negotiating with bandits, it's a sign of weakness to me. That's my idea. Let's deal with the situation. If they are weak, let them come out. Let's negotiate, integrate them back into the society. They are our people. Nobody said they are our brothers. But we cannot protect a criminal. A criminal is a criminal. A killer is a killer. No sentiment. Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Fulani, whatever. A criminal is a criminal. A killer is a killer. We deal with the situation. This country has matured to the level that nobody is going to throw sentiment on us. Sentiment for what? You shouldn't. It's very unfortunate and sad when you hear people saying all sorts of things because it's not their brothers that were killed. My brother was killed, same father, same mother, by this same bandit. People don't have sympathy. If you are not involved, you are not involved. So you can say all sorts of nonsense. We are far beyond that. Nobody is going to drag me with sentiment, I'm telling you. And my determination to do this thing is 100%, and I will do it. And I don't mind the consequences. God is going to protect us because God knows our mind. Thank you very much.